It sometimes takes a few moments. Okay, now we have the webinar is being live streamed. Welcome to the Instant Shakespeare Company Molière Rendezvous reading of The School for Wives by Molière. In this, as we celebrated last month, the 400th anniversary of his birth, the 400th year of his birth. So, and I will turn it over to Simone Coonrod.
So today, Molière Rendezvous presents The School for Wives. First stage at the Palais Royal Theatre on the 26th of December, 1662 for Philippe I, the brother of the king. A year and a half earlier, he wrote The School for Husbands. The subject matter was fresh, for in between these two plays, he married Armande Béjart. He was 40, she 17. Amal's first performance was in his next play, Critique for the School for Wives, which was Molière's response to all the attacks he received from this play. Armande came from a well-established theatrical Béjart family and carried on to become a famous actress. So let's introduce the cast first. So we'll start with Paula.
Hello, I'm Paula Hosa, and I am playing Chrysalde.
Clinton.
Hello, I'm Clinton Powell. I'm playing Elaine.
Brian.
Brian White, I'm playing Oronte.
Angus.
Angus Hepburn, London, reading Arnulf.
Drew.
I'm Drew Bollender, and I'm reading Horace.
Bill.
Bill Bleckenberg, I'm reading Enrique.
And Anna. Alana?
Elena. I'm Elena Rader, and I'm playing Agnes.
Okay, and I am Simone Coonrod, the playmaster, and I will be reading Georgette. So,
You've come to marry her, you say?
First, we have a little video.
Oh, we do?
That's right. That's right.
So we can turn our cameras off.
Chrysalde is a man. Chrysalde was a man. What did you? Well,
I'm not hearing any sound. There's supposed to be sound with this.
there you go. What a complete waste of time. Yes, I'll be to send it back as well. It goes on 10 minutes too long. The video is about 3 minutes too long.
A square in a provincial town, Act 1.
You've come to marry her, you say?
Yes, I mean to settle the business tomorrow.
We're alone, so no one can hear us. As your friend, can I be completely honest with you? Your plan makes me tremble with fear. To take a wife is a rash step, no matter how you look at it.
Oh, true, my friend. Although it may be your own condition that makes you fear for me. Is it not that you fear a cuckold's horns for yourself, since all the evidence points to them being the inevitable accompaniment of marriage?
You certainly can't protect against that. And the trouble people take to try is just ridiculous. But when I fear for you, it's on account of all the husbands who have felt the sting of your sarcastic wit. None of them have been safe from your criticism, since your greatest pleasure has always been to make a hue and cry about their wives' secret intrigues.
Of course. Is there another city in the world where husbands are so patient as here? Every day we meet them, all types, from the poorest to the wealthiest. One piles up wealth, which his wife then shares with those who are eager to make him a dupe. Another, slightly more fortunate, sees his wife receive presents day after day and never feels any jealous twinge when she tells him that they are the rewards of virtue. One makes a great noise, which doesn't do him the slightest good. Another steps back and lets it happen, so that when he sees the gallant arrive at his house, he politely offers to take his gloves and his cloak. One married woman cunningly pretends to make a confidant of her gullible husband, who slumbers securely under his delusions, and pities the gallant for his pains. Another married woman, to account for her extravagance, says that the money she spends has been won at play, and the silly husband, without considering at what play, thanks heaven for her winnings. Oh, these husbands are ripe subjects for satire everywhere. So why shouldn't I, the great spectator, laugh at them? Are not these fools?
Yes, but he who laughs at another must beware, lest he in turn becomes the butt of such sarcasm himself. I hear what is said, and I see how some delight in spreading the scandalous stories. But you won't see me delighting in the reports that do the rounds in the places I frequent. I prefer not to get involved in this scandal mongering. And though I might condemn tolerating these matters and am determined not to suffer quietly what some endure, I've never allowed myself to say so. For after all, the satire may fall upon ourselves, and for fear of that, we should never declare what we should or should not do. Thus, if, heaven forbid, I should get caught up in something of the like, I would hope that people would limit themselves to only smiling at it, and with luck, offer me sympathy rather than satirical laughter. But with you, my dear friend, you wouldn't stand a chance. I tell you again, you're running a terrible risk. Since you have always made fun of husbands accused of being tolerant and made them laughing stocks, you'd better be prepared to have the tables turned on yourself, so that if it happens that they get the least pretext, take care they do not shout your disgrace from the rooftops. And I am...
My friend, don't worry. It'll be a clever man who catches me out like that. I know all the cunning tricks and subtle devices women use to deceive us, and how men are fooled by their tricks, and I have taken precautions against this. The lady I am marrying possesses all the innocence which will prevent a cuckold's horns ending up on my forehead.
Why? What do you imagine, that marrying a silly girl will save you?
To marry a silly girl is not to become silly myself. I have no doubt that your better half is very wise, but having a clever wife could be dangerous. I've seen what some husbands have to pay for choosing a wife with too much wit. But I go and saddle myself with an intellectual woman who talks of nothing but of her appearance and the furnishings of her house, who writes tender words in prose and in verse, and is visited by marquises and wits, while as Mrs. So-and-so's husband, I should, like a saint, be a hermit whom no one calls upon. Oh, no, 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 no. I will have none of your lofty minds. A woman who writes knows more than she ought to. I intend that my wife shall not even be clever enough to know what a rhyme is. So, my friend, let her be very ignorant. And to tell you the truth, it'll be enough that she can say her prayers, love me, sew and spin.
A stupid wife, then, is your goal.
Well, so much so that I should prefer a very stupid and ugly woman to a very beautiful one with great wit.
Wit and beauty.
Virtue is quite enough.
But how can you expect that a simple woman can ever know what it is to be virtuous? Besides, I would think that it must be very tiresome for a man to have a stupid creature permanently on his arm. Do you think if you act sensibly and rely on your plan, your brow will be saved from the danger of horns? A woman of sense may fail in her duty, but she at least does so knowingly. A stupid woman may at any time fail in hers without even realizing she's doing it.
In response to this fine argument, I reply as Pantagruel did to Panurge. Urge me to marry any other woman than a stupid one. Preach and lecture till Whitsuntide. You shall be amazed to find when you've done that you've not persuaded me in the very slightest.
Fine. I won't say another word.
Every man must define his own way. With my wife, as in everything, I mean to follow my own rules. I am rich enough to take a partner who will owe all to me, and whose humble station and complete dependence on me will not cause me problems because of either her poverty or her birth. A sweet and quiet look made me love Agnes out of all other children when she was only 4. I made up my mind to ask her mother, who was very poor, for her hand. The good countrywoman, learning of my wish, was delighted to rid herself of the charge. I then had her brought up according to my own ideas in a little solitary convent. I instructed them to hold back on her education in order to keep her as simple and naive as possible. Thank heaven, success has crowned my efforts. I'm very thankful to say she has turned out so innocent that I have blessed heaven for having done what I wished in giving me a wife according to my desires. Then I brought her away. And as my house is continually open to 100 different people, and as we must be on our guard against everything, I've kept her in another house where no one comes to see me, innocent and simple as herself. You will say, why this long story? I am showing the care I have taken. Now, as you're my trusted friend, I want to ask you to sup with her tonight. I want you to examine her a little and see if I am to be condemned for my choice.
With all my heart.
Well, you can judge her looks and her innocence as you converse with her.
As to that, what you have told me cannot...
What I have told you still falls short of the truth. Oh, I truly admire her simplicity. Sometimes she says things at which I could well split my sides laughing. The other day, would you believe it? She was uneasy and came to ask me with complete innocence if children came through the ears.
I'm pleased for you, Monsieur Arnaud.
Oh, please do not call me by that name.
It just slips out when I forget. I never remember Monsieur de la Souche. Who on earth has put it into your head to change your name at 42 years of age and give yourself a title from a rotten old tree stump on your farm?
The house is known by that name. In any case, La Souche pleases my ear better than Arnulf.
It's such a shame to give up the name of your forefathers and take an invented one. I know many people have tried that. I knew a country fellow called Gros Pierre, who, having no other property but an acre or 2 of land, had a muddy ditch made all around it and took the high-sounding name of Monsieur de Lille.
Well, whether you approve or not, de la Souche is the name I bear. I have reason for it. I like it, and continuing to call me otherwise will annoy me.
Yet most people seem to be ignoring it. I still see letters addressed.
Look, I can put up with it from those who are not informed. But you...
Fair enough. I won't argue with you about it. I will take care in future to call you nothing but Monsieur de la Souche.
Thank you. Farewell. I need to visit here and to wish them good morning and let them know that I've returned.
On my word, I think he's a perfect fool.
He's more than a little misguided on some things. It's strange how each man is passionately fond of his own opinion. Hello?
Who knocks?
Open the door. I imagine they'll be very glad to see me after 10 days' absence.
Who's there?
It's me.
Georgette!
What?
Open the door.
No, do it yourself.
You'd go and do it.
No, why should I?
Well, I'm not doing it.
Ridiculous. I'm waiting out here. Now, come on.
Who is it?
Your master.
Allah!
What?
It's the master. Open the door quickly.
I tell you, you open it.
I am blowing the fire.
And I'm taking care that the bird doesn't get out. The cat's on the prowl.
If you don't open this door, you can starve for the next 4 days.
Why are you running? I'm doing it.
Why should you more than I? I'm coming, sir.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way yourself.
I'm going to open the door.
I am.
No, you won't.
Oh, you certainly won't.
Nor will you.
God, give me patience.
There. It is I, master.
Your servant, it is I.
If it weren't for the master standing here, I'd...
Hang it!
Pardon me.
You lout.
It was her as well, master.
Oh, hold your tongues, both of you. Look, just answer me and stop messing about. Alain, is everyone well?
Master, well, thank heaven, we...
Look, who taught you to speak to me with your hat on, you impertinent fool?
You're right. I'm wrong.
Tell Agnes to come down. Was she sad after I went away?
Sad? No.
No?
Yes.
Well, which then?
Well, sir, she expected to see you return every minute, and we never heard a horse, an ass, or a mule pass by without her thinking it was you.
What? Oh, look, she's been busy working. Now, that's a good sign. Well, Agnes, I've returned. Are you pleased?
Yes, sir. Heaven be thanked.
And I am glad to see you again. You have been well? Oh, I see you have.
Except for the fleas, which troubled me in the night.
Oh, you shall soon have someone to drive them away.
Ah, that will be a relief.
I can imagine. What were you doing?
I am making nightcaps for myself, and your nightshirts and nightcaps are finished.
Excellent. Well, off you go. You mustn't tire yourself. I'll soon return, and then I shall have important business to discuss with you. Oh, save me from learned ladies who spout tender and fine sentiments. I decry all your verses, your novels, your letters, your love letters, your entire science. It's worth nothing against this virtuous and modest ignorance. We mustn't be dazzled by riches, and so long as honor is... What do I see? Is it? Yes. No, I'm mistaken. But no, it is himself.
Monsieur
Horace.
Arnulf.
Aha! Oh, what joy indeed. And how long have you been in town?
9 days.
Really?
Yeah, I went straight to your house, but in vain.
Oh, I was in the country.
Yes, you had been gone 10 days.
How these children spring up in a few years. I'm amazed to see him so tall. Last time I saw him, he was only so high.
That's how it goes.
But tell me, how is my dear friend Laurent, your father? What's he doing? What's his news? Is he still fit and well? He knows I'm interested in all that affects him. We've not seen one another these 4 years, nor indeed written to each other, I think.
Monsieur Onoff, he is even more cheerful than we. I had a letter from him for you, but he has since informed me in another letter that he is coming here, though as yet I do not know the reason for it. Have you heard of one of your townsmen who has returned with an abundance of wealth earned during a 14 years residence in America?
No. Have you not heard his name?
Enrique, I think?
No.
My father speaks of him in his return as though he should be well known to me. He writes that they are about to set out together on an affair of consequence, and he doesn't say what it is in his letter.
Oh, I shall assuredly be very glad to see him and shall do my best to entertain him. Friends do not need to send such polite letters, and all these compliments are unnecessary. Even if he had not taken the trouble to write one word, I should have been happy to provide you with whatever you might require.
I'm a man who takes people at their word. You see, at the moment, I am in a great need of 100 pistoles.
Upon my word, you oblige me by asking. And fortunately, I have that sum with me. Here, keep the purse as well.
I must, if it's
not another word. Now tell me, how do you like the town so far?
So many people and buildings are splendid. I imagine the entertainment here is wonderful.
Oh, everyone makes his own pleasure, of course, after his own fashion. But for the gallants, they have just what they like. For the women here are born flirts. Dark or fair, they're all charming, and the husbands let them get away with anything they fancy. It's a delightful entertainment, fit for a king. It's a joy to watch their pranks. Oh, perhaps you have already caught someone's eye. Have you had no adventure yet? Men as dashing as you can do far more than men who have money. You could cuckold a husband any time.
I can't deny it. I have had something of an intrigue here. I can't wait to tell you about it.
Good. Here's another scandalous tale to set down in my notebook.
But please, keep my secret.
Oh, certainly.
You know that in these matters, once a secret is divulged, it destroys everything. Let me confess to you that I have been smitten by a charming girl. My slightest attentions were so successful that I succeeded in obtaining a very satisfactory introduction to her. Not to boast, nor to do her injustice. The affair is progressing very well indeed.
And she is?
A young beauty living in yonder house. That one over there with the red walls you can see from here. To tell you the truth, she is terribly naive thanks to the folly of her guardian who hides her from the world. But despite the ignorance in which he would enslave her, she shows charms that throw one into raptures. She has a thoroughly engaging manner and something indescribably tender against which no heart is proof. But perhaps you have seen this young star of love, this charming girl. Agnes is her name.
Oh, I shall explode with fury.
As for the man, I think his name is De La Zeus or Souche. I wasn't paying attention to his name. They tell me he is rich, but something lacking in wisdom and common sense. They say he is a ridiculous fellow. Do you know him?
Oh, this is too much.
Well, what's the matter?
Oh, yes, I know him.
He is a fool, is he not?
Oh, well.
What do you say? Well, that means yes. Jealous, I suppose, ridiculously so. Stupid. I see he is just as they told me. To be brief, the lovely Agnes has succeeded in enslaving me. Oh, she is a pretty jewel, to tell the truth. It would be a sin if such a rare beauty were left in the power of this eccentric fellow. For me, all my efforts, all my dearest wishes are to make her mine in spite of this jealous wretch. And the money which I just borrowed from you is needed to bring this laudable enterprise to conclusion. You know better than I that money is the key to all great plans, and that these shining coins, which distract so many, can promote our triumphs in love just as in business or even war. You seem upset. Isn't this a great plan to win the love of my life?
No, but I was thinking.
I'm afraid I've gone on too long. Farewell. I will soon pay you a visit to return the thanks.
What? Must it?
Once again, pray, be discreet. Do not go and spread my secret abroad.
Oh, I feel within my soul.
And above all, to my father, who would likely throw a fit if he expected it.
Oh, this is terrible. I have never found myself in such a state. Did you see how he rushed to tell me of this affair? Thankfully, my second name kept him in the dark about my identity, but he just kept on and on. Having endured so much, I ought to have encouraged him to tell me all and found out all about their secret trysts. Oh, I must catch him up. I fancy he's not far off. Let me worm all the terrible details from him. I fear for the misfortune which may befall me, but must look for what I dread to find.
Act 2.
It's probably just as well that I've lost my way and failed to find him, for I would not have been able to hide my fears from him. The panic would have burst forth, and I don't wish him to know what at the moment he is blissfully unaware of. But I will not put up with this and leave this young spark a free field to pursue his designs. I will block his progress. First, I must determine, and quickly, how far this mutual understanding has progressed. My honor is specially tied up in this. I already consider her as my wife. If she had become involved with another, she covers me with shame and mockery because her actions will be laid at my door. Oh, I should never have gone away. Look what's happened in my absence.
Scene 2.
Master, this time...
Enough! Come here, both of you. Come along, I tell you.
You are frightening me. What is it? My blood runs cold.
Is this how you have obeyed me in my absence? You have both combined to betray me.
Oh, master, do not beat me, I implore you.
I'm sure some mad dog has bitten him.
Oh, I cannot speak. I'm so filled with rage. I'm choking with fury. Now, you cursed scoundrels, you have permitted a man to come. Okay, run away, would you? No, you must this instant. And you, if you move, Georgette, now you'd better tell me. If anyone tries to move, I shall knock them down. How came that man into my house? Speak up. Make haste directly, instantly. No thinking. Let's hear you.
I'm having a heart attack.
I am dying.
Heavens, I am sweating. Oh, let me take a breath. I must fan myself and pace about. Could I believe when I saw Horace as a little boy that he would grow up for this? Heavens above, the anguish I am in. I think it would be better to gently draw from Agnes' own mouth an account of what has gone on in my absence. Oh, I must moderate my anger. Patience, my heart, softly, softly. Right, go and bid Agnes come to me. Oh, no, she will be forewarned. They will go and tell her how upset I am. I'll go myself and bring her out. I'll go. You wait for me here.
Heavens, how terrified he looked. His looks made me afraid, horribly afraid. Never did I see a more Christian look so fearsome.
This gentleman has made him livid. I told you it would happen.
But why on earth does he make us keep his mistress in the house? It is cruelty. Why does he need to hide her from the world and not allow anyone near her?
Because he gets wildly jealous.
But how did that start?
Simply because he is jealous.
But why? And where does this terrible anger come from?
Because jealousy, understand me, Georgette, jealousy is a thing which makes people uncomfortable, threatened. Like me. Give you a for instance so that you can understand it more clearly. Tell me when you have your bowl of soup in your hand and some hungry person tries to take it from you and eat it, you would be in a rage and be ready to beat him, wouldn't you?
Yes, I can see that.
It is just the same a woman is in fact a man's broth, and when a man sees others trying to dip their fingers in his broth, he gets furious at it.
Yes, but then why doesn't everyone behave like that? There are some men who appear to be pleased when their wives fool around with a handsome, fine gentleman.
Oh, because not everyone is a victim of love that will not share.
Oh, look out. He's coming back.
Well spotted.
See how upset he is.
That's because he has a serious problem.
Once upon a time, a certain Greek told the Emperor Augustus a great truism. When anything puts us into a rage, we should first repeat the alphabet. That will give time for the fury to fade so that we don't do anything that we would later regret. I have followed his advice in the matter of Agnes, and I have brought her here deliberately under the pretense of taking a walk. Then I can talk to her alone and cunningly lead the subject round to my suspicions. Hopefully then, if I do it carefully and gently enough, she will reveal what is in her heart, and I will find out the truth. Come, Agnes, and you two be off. It's a nice day for a walk.
Very nice.
A fine day.
Very fine.
What news while I have been away?
My kitten died.
Oh, that's a shame. But as you know, we are all mortal, and everyone has their own span of life and no more. Did it rain much while I was in the country?
No.
Did you not get bored while I was away?
I never get bored.
Oh, what did you do to fill the time then?
I made you 6 shirts and 6 nightcaps to go with them.
Oh, the world, dear Agnes, is a strange place. You know how everybody gossips round here. Some of the neighbors have told me that a young man they did not recognize came to the house in my absence, that you permitted him to see and talk to you. Oh, but don't worry. I didn't believe their gossiping tales and told them that I would bet they were lying.
Oh, heavens, do not bet. You would certainly lose.
But it is true that a man...
Quite true. I promise you that he was scarcely ever out of the house.
Oh, this confession, if nothing else, at least assures me of her naivety. Oh, but Agnes, before I left, did I not forbid you to see anyone?
Yes, but you do not know why I saw him. But once you do, you will realize that you would have done the same.
Really? Tell me about it.
It is wonderful and hard to believe. I was on the balcony, sewing in the sunshine, when I saw a handsome young man passing close to me under the trees, who, seeing me look at him, immediately bowed very respectfully. I, not to be rude, curtsied to him. He bowed again, I again curtsied, and when he repeated it for the 3rd time, I answered with a 3rd curtsy. He went on, returned, went past again, and each time he passed, he bowed to me again, and I, who was noting all of these acts of politeness, returned him as many curtsies to match his bows, so that if night had not fallen, who knows when he would have stopped, for I did not wish to be the first to yield and have the vexation of his thinking me less civil than himself.
Very good.
Next day, when I was by the door, an old woman accosted me and said to me something like, "My child, may good heaven bless you and keep you long in all your beauty. You should not abuse the gifts you have been given. You should know that you have wounded a heart which is now crying aloud in pain."
Oh, damn the old hag.
"Have I wounded anyone?" I answered, quite astonished. "Yes," she said, "wounded. You have indeed wounded a gentleman. It is the one you saw yesterday from the balcony." "Alas," said I, "what could have been the cause? Did I without thinking let anything fall on him?" "No," she replied. "It was your eyes which gave the fatal blow. From their glances came all his injury." "Alas, good heaven," said I am astonished. Do my eyes have some strange power to hurt others?" Yes, cried she, your eyes, my girl, have the power to weaken young men. The poor fellow pines away, and if, continued the old woman, your cruelty refuses him assistance, it is likely he shall be carried to his grave in a couple of days. Bless me, said I would sorry to be the cause of that, but what may I do to help him? My child, said she, he requests only the happiness of seeing and conversing with you. Your eyes alone can prevent his ruin and cure the pain they have caused. Oh, gladly, said I. Of course, he may come to see me here as often as he likes.
Damn the cursed witch! Oh, poisoner of souls, may hell reward your charitable tricks.
That is how he came to see me and got cured. Now tell me frankly if I was not right.
All this comes only from a soul that is far too innocent. I blame myself for my imprudent absence. I left this naive child without a protector, exposed to the wiles of artful seducers. I fear that the rascal has taken advantage and carried the matter way beyond a joke.
What is upsetting you? You seem to be almost angry. Did I do something wrong?
Oh, but no. But tell me what happened then, how the young man behaved during his visits.
Alas, if you but knew how delightful he was, his illness vanished as soon as he saw me. He gave me a present of a lovely casket, and he gave money to Alain and Georgette by way of thanks. If you had been here, you would love him as we do, and say, as we say.
Yes, but what did he do when he was alone with you?
He swore that he loved me with an unequaled passion and said the prettiest words possible. The sweetest phrases that quite charmed me. Whenever I hear him speak, he moves I know not what within me.
Oh, I almost wish I hadn't asked. Oh, the more I hear, the greater the pain I suffer. Oh, besides all these charming words, all these pretty compliments, did he not bestow a few caresses on you?
Oh, so many. He took my hands and my arms and was never tired of kissing them.
Agnes, did he take nothing else from you?
Why, he...
What?
Took...
Agnes,
Well, I dare not tell you. You will perhaps be angry with me.
But, no.
Yes, but you will.
Oh, good heavens, no.
Swear on your word?
Oh, on my word, then.
He took my... You will be in a passion.
No.
Yes.
No. What the devil is this mystery? What did he take from you?
He...
Oh, I'm suffering the torments of the damned.
He took away from me the ribbon you gave me. To tell you the truth, I could not prevent him.
Oh, let the ribbon go. But I want to know if he did nothing to you but kiss your arms.
Why, do people do other things?
Oh, not at all. But in order to cure the sickness which he said had seized him, did he not ask you for any other remedy?
No, although I admit that I would have granted him anything that would do him good. He only would have to ask.
By the grace of God, I have escaped cheaply. May I be cursed if I fall into such a mistake again. Oh, this is the result of your innocence, Agnes. I shall say no more about it. What is done is done. I must warn you, though, that by flattering you, the young man only wishes to deceive you and to laugh at you afterwards.
Oh, no. He told me so more than a score of times.
Oh, no, you do not realize that he's not to be believed. But now you must learn that to accept caskets and listen to the nonsense of these handsome fops, to allow them languidly to kiss your hands and charm your heart, is a mortal sin, and one of the greatest that can be committed.
A sin, do you say? But why?
Why? Well, it is written that heaven is incensed by such things.
Incensed? But why should heaven be incensed? The words were so sweet and agreeable. I felt only joy from all this, at least until now, when you tell me I'm ignorant of these things and have been misled.
Yes, All these tender passages, these pretty speeches and sweet caresses are a great pleasure, but they must be enjoyed in an honest manner, and their sin should be taken away by marriage.
Is it no longer a sin when one is married?
No.
Oh, then please marry me quickly.
If you wish it, I wish it also. I have returned hither for the purpose of marrying you.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Oh, how happy you will make me.
Yes, I have no doubt that marriage will please you.
Then we two shall.
Nothing is more certain.
Oh, I shall caress you once we are married.
And I shall do the same to you.
I can never tell when people are jesting. Do you speak seriously?
But of course I do. Can you not tell?
We are to be married.
Yes.
But when?
Oh, this very evening.
This very evening?
Oh, this very evening. That makes you laugh?
Yes.
Oh, that is my desire, to see you always happy.
Oh, how kind you are. I owe you so much. I just know I will have a wonderful life with him.
With whom?
With him, that wonderful young man.
Him there? Oh, I'm not speaking of him there. You were a rush too quickly to accept a husband. It is someone else whom I have chosen for you. And as for that young gentleman, I require of you to be so good, even though this mysterious illness he claims only you can cure should be the death of him, that henceforth you break off all intercourse with him. That when he comes to the house, you will just shut the door in his face, throw a stone out of the window at him when he knocks, and instruct him in good earnest that he never to appear again. Do you hear me, Agnes? I shall hide and observe you when he calls to make sure you do as I say.
Oh, no, he is so handsome. He is.
Enough.
But I couldn't bear to just.
No more chatter. Upstairs.
But surely, will you.
Enough.
Please.
I am master here. I command you, and you must obey.
Act 3.
Yes. Everything went very well. I'm truly delighted. You've obeyed my orders perfectly and brought that fair-haired seducer to complete confusion. You see how important it is to have a wise counselor? Your innocent nature, Agnes, has been taken advantage of. Looked where he had brought you to before you had even noticed. In the absence of my guidance, you were heading down that broad path to hell and perdition. You see, the way these young fops work is only too well known. They have their fine feathers, plenty of bright ribbons and fancy plumes, big wigs, gleaming teeth, real smooth talkers. But I tell you, they run on cloven feet. They are very devils whose corrupt appetites prey upon the gentle honor of women. This time, however, thanks to the care that I have taken, you have escaped with your virtue. The style in which I saw you throw that stone at him, which dashed all his plans, still more convinces me not to delay the marriage for which I told you to prepare. But before that, I really must give you a few more words of advice. You two, bring a chair outside, and if you...
We shall take care to remember all your instructions. But that other gentleman really convinced us.
If he ever gets in here again...
I'll never drink another drop. In any case, he is a fool and a cheat. He gave us 2 gold crowns the other day, which were underweight.
Now, get what I ordered for supper, and for the contract I mentioned, one of you fetch the notary who lives at the corner of the marketplace.
Scene 2.
Agnes, put your sewing down and listen to me. Come, raise your head. Turn your face around. Now, look at me while I speak to you and note every single word I am going to wade you, Agnes. When you think of your former low state, you ought to bless your stars 100 times a day as you think of my goodness in raising you from a poor country girl to the honorable rank of a citizen's wife, allowing you to enjoy the bed and embraces of a man who has shunned all such entanglements and whose heart has refused a score of women who were only too suitable and keen to please him. Consider the honor which he intends to confer on you. Never forget how insignificant you would be without this glorious opportunity. That alone should encourage you to fully appreciate the condition in which I shall place you. I trust so you will then understand your duty, so that I may never repent of what I am doing. Marriage, Agnes, is no joke. The position of a wife imposes strict duties. I do not mean to exalt you to that condition in order that you may be free and take your ease. Your sex inevitably is built on dependence. Omnipotence goes to the participant with the beard. Though there are two halves in the connection, these two halves are by no means equal. One half is superior, the other is subordinate. The one is all discipline, the one is all submission to the other, which inevitably rules. The obedience which the well-disciplined soldier shows to his leader, the servant to his master, a child to his parent, the lowest monk to his superior, is far below the docility, obedience, humility, and profound respect due from the wife to her husband, her chief, her lord, and her master. When he looks at her gravely, her duty is to lower her eyes, never daring to look him in the face, until such time he chooses to favor her with a tender glance. Women nowadays do not understand this. You must be careful never to be spoiled by the example of others. Take care not to be seduced into imitating those scandalous women whose actions are talked of all over the city. And do not let yourself be tempted by the devil. That is to say, do not listen to any young rake. Remember, Agnes, that in making you part of myself, I give my honor into your hands. And that honor is fragile and easily damaged. It will not do to trifle with this responsibility. There are boiling cauldrons in hell into which wives who live scandalously are thrown forevermore. You must believe that I am not spinning you stories. Let these ideas sink in to become your guide. If you live in this way and never flirt, your soul will always be white and spotless as a lily. But if you stay in your honor, it will become black as coal. You will seem hideous to all, and one day you will become the devil's own property and boil in hell to all eternity. And then, God help you. As a novice in a convent needs to know her duties by heart, so it ought to be on getting married. Here in my pocket, I have an important document which will teach you the duties of a wife. I don't know the author, but it truly contains words of wisdom. This should be your study and should govern your life. Now, let me show you. Now, show me how well you grasp its importance.
The maxims of marriage, or the duties of a wife, together with her daily devotions. First maxim: she who is honorably wed should remember, forget today's fashions. The man who marries does not take a wife for anyone but himself.
Now, I shall explain what that means, but at present, let us only read.
Second maxim: she ought not to bedeck herself more than her husband likes. The care of her beauty concerns him alone, and if others think her plain, that does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
Third maxim: do not give in to the study of washes, paints, pomatums, and the 1,000 preparations for a good complexion. These are always fatal poisons to honor. A husband does not need all these tricks done you to wife to appear beautiful. Fourth maxim: when she goes out, she should keep her eyes down and wear her hood up. Honor requires it, for to please her husband rightly, she should not please others. Fifth maxim: she should receive none but those who are visiting her husband. Oh, the young men who only have business with the wife are not agreeable to the husband. Sixth maxim: she must firmly refuse presents from men. For in these days, nothing is given for nothing. Seventh maxim: there must be neither writing desk, ink, paper, nor pens available to her, no matter how much she dislikes this. The rule must be that everything written in the house should be written by the husband. Eighth maxim: those disorderly meetings called social gatherings only serve to corrupt the minds of women. The best policy to forbid them. for they only conspire against poor husbands. Ninth maxim. To preserve her honor, a woman should abjure gambling. It is a plague. In all its forms, it is highly seductive and can drive a woman down to her last stake. 10th maxim. She must not venture on public promenades nor picnics, for others know that it is always the husband who pays for such treats. 11th maxim.
No, finish it by yourself, and later. I shall explain these things to you properly, line by line. I have remembered an urgent matter I must attend to. I shan't be long. Go in and take special care of that volume. If the notary comes, ask him to wait here for me.
Scene 3.
I cannot do better than make her my wife. I shall be able to mold her as I please. She will be wax in my hands, and I can give her whatever shape I like. Naivety would never let her be stolen away from me while I was absent. The truth is that it is better for a wife to err on that side. The cure for such faults is easy. True, the naive person is easily led astray, but a few appropriate words will instantly bring her back again. A clever woman, however, is quite another sort of animal. Our fate depends only on her judgment. Nothing can divert her from her goal, and our guiding words are futile. Her wit allows us to ridicule our maxims, and to turn her vices into virtues, and to find the means to cheat the ablest husband so as to achieve her own ends. We labor in vain to parry the blow. A clever woman is a devil at intrigue, and when her fancies have passed sentence on our honor, we must give in. Many good fellows could tell as much. But my blundering friend shall have no cause to laugh. He has reaped the harvest of his gossip. This is the general fault of Frenchmen. When they have a love adventure, secrecy bores them, and silly vanity has so many charms for them that they would rather hang themselves than hold their tongues. Women are an easy prey to Satan when they go and choose such addle-pates. And when... Oh, here he is. I must dissemble and find out how he has been mortified.
I've just come from your house. It seems I am fated never to meet you there, but I shall keep trying as surely as
no, for goodness sake, let's not bother with all this fuss. I can't abide all those silly social rules, and if I could, I'd abolish them. People waste at least 2/3 of their time on them. Let us put our hats back on, and now tell me how your love affair is progressing. I was sidetracked at the time you were telling me about it, but thinking about it afterwards, I was struck by your rate of progress. I was indeed fascinated. Tell me more.
Well, since I confided in you, unfortunately, there has been a setback.
Oh, how so?
Cruel fate has brought her guardian back from the country.
Oh, that's bad luck.
What's worse, he has discovered what has passed in private between us.
But how on earth could he discover the affair so soon?
I have no idea, but it has certainly happened. I went at my usual hour to pay a short visit to my young charmer. When I got there, her 2 servants barred my entrance, slammed the door in my face, and told me to get lost. That I had got them into trouble.
Slammed it in your face?
In my face.
Oh, that's a bit much.
I tried to speak to them through the door, but their only answer was, "You can't come in, the master has forbidden it."
And they didn't ever open the door?
No. And then, to make it even clearer that the man had returned, Agnes leaned out her window and told me to get lost in an angry tone, and then threw a stone at me into the bargain.
Oh, a stone?
Yeah, and it wasn't a small one either. That is how she rewarded my visit with her own hands.
Goodness. Oh, these are major hurdles. Your affair seems to have hit an impasse.
Yes. I don't know how to proceed now that he has returned.
Oh, you have my sympathy.
His return blocks everything.
Oh, yes, but never mind. You'll find a way around this.
Somehow I have to thwart this jealous guardian.
Well, that should be easy. After all, the girl loves you.
True.
Then, of course, you will succeed.
I hope so.
But that stone she threw really has you worried, hasn't it? I'm sure it didn't really mean anything.
No, that's true. And I understood immediately that my rival was hiding there, unseen, and directed everything. But something else happened that was a real surprise, which gives me hope. You won't believe it, but this wonderful, naive girl shocked me with a bold stroke, which on its face of it is completely out of character. Oh, love, I admit, is a good teacher and encourages us to be really inventive to achieve his desires. Well, he can produce a complete change in our manners in seconds under his guidance. He breaks through the impediments in our nature and works miracles. In an instant, he can make a miser liberal, the coward brave, the churl polite. He renders the dullest soul fit for anything and gives wit to the most simple. But this last miracle was an astonishing change for Agnes. As she blurted out those words, "Begone, I am resolved never to wish your visits. I know all you would say, and there is my answer." This stone she threw fell at my feet with a letter. A wonderful letter, which fitted both her words and the throwing of the stone. Isn't it astonishing? You see how love sharpens the mind and his flames inspire the heart. What do you think of the cleverness of that? Don't you admire her cunning and contrivance? Is it not amusing to see how she thwarted my jealous rival in his game? Say it.
Very amusing.
Well, come on, laugh at it. This fellow who had barricaded her against my passion, who shuts up himself in his house and appears to have provided the household with stones, as though I were preparing to storm the place, who in his ridiculous terror encourages all his household to drive me away, is tricked before his very eyes by the girl he has been trying to keep in seclusion and ignorance. Well, for my part, I confess that although his return throws a bit of a spanner into my love affair, I find the whole business exceedingly comical that I cannot stop laughing whenever I think about it. But you don't seem to find it so amusing.
Yeah, I beg pardon. I laugh at it as much as I can.
Oh. Yeah, but to complete the tale, I must show you her letter. Her hand, her hand knew how to set down all that her heart felt, but in such touching terms, so kind, so innocently tender, so ingenuous. In a word, just as an unaffected nature confesses its first love.
So, this is the use you make of writing, you hussy. I never wanted you to learn that in the first place, and how right I was.
I wish to write to you, but I'm at a loss how to begin. I have some thoughts which I should like to know, but I do not know how to tell them to you, and I mistrust my own words. I begin to feel that I have always been kept in ignorance. I fear to say anything which is not right and to express more than I ought. In fact, I do not know what you have done to me, but I feel I am desperately troubled at what I am made to do against you, that it is to be the hardest thing in the world for me to do without you, and that instead I only wish to be with you. Perhaps it is wrong to say that, but the truth is I cannot help saying it, and I wish it could be. I am assured that all young men are deceivers, that they must not be listened to, and that all you told me is only to deceive me. But I assure you, I cannot believe that of you. I am so touched by your words that I cannot believe them to be false. I beg you, tell me frankly if they are, for I have been honest with you, and you would be extremely wicked to deceive me. I think I should die of misery if such a thing were true.
Oh, the little...
What is wrong?
Wrong? Oh, nothing. I was only coughing.
Have you ever heard a more tender expression? In spite of the machinations of her jealous guardian, could you imagine a more genuine nature? It is criminal to confine such an admirable spirit so wickedly, to try to keep this bright soul in ignorance and stupidity. Love has begun to tear away the veil, and if, thank the stars, I can confound this animal, this wretch, this hangdog, this scoundrel, this brute,
Goodbye.
Why are you in such a hurry?
I've just remembered a pressing engagement.
Oh, but quickly, don't you know anyone who could get me access to the house? After all, you live close by. How about friends who might help me? I have no one there except the people who watch me. The servants, as I found out, would not cease their rudeness and listen to me, no matter what I said. For a while, I had a clever old woman who would act for me, but the poor woman died 4 days ago. Can you not come up with some plan to help me?
No, really. You will easily find someone without me.
Well, goodbye then. You see how much I trust you.
Oh, how he makes me suffer before him. I can scarcely conceal my agony. What cunning in such a fool, the way she pretended to be so sweet and simple to my face. Did the devil breathe this cunning into her heart? But now that cursed letter is killing me. The rascal has corrupted her mind and has taken my place there. I'm filled with despair and anguish. The pain is twofold. I am robbed of her and my honor. I'm going mad at the thought of finding my place usurped, and I'm enraged to see my care being defeated. I know that to punish her guilty passion, I only have to leave her to her evil fate, and that I will be revenged on her by her own hand, but it makes me furious to lose what I love. After having been so careful in my choice, how is it that she has so bewitched me? She has neither relatives, friends, nor money. She abuses my care, my kindness, my tenderness, yet I love her to distraction, even after this trick of hers. Oh, have you no shame? I cannot contain myself. I must be going mad. Oh, I shall go in for a little, but only to see how she looks after tricking me so vilely. Oh, heavens, grant that I may escape dishonor, or rather, if I must suffer these misfortunes, grant me the fortitude to endure it.
Act 4.
I have to pace. My mind is racing as I try to work out how to thwart this young man's attempts to steal my ward. I have to block him in the house and, so help me, out in the streets in case he runs into her. How calm she was when she saw me. She appeared completely unconcerned by what she'd done. And though she's like to drive me to an early grave, you would swear to look at her that she had done nothing wrong. The calmer she presented herself, the more I was enraged. And her every look and word inflamed my heart, seemed to redouble my love for her. She provoked me and angered me. I became incensed, and yet I never saw her look so lovely. Her eyes never seemed to me so bright. Oh, never before did they inspire me with such passion. It will be the death of me if my evil destiny should bring this disgrace upon me. I have brought her up with so much tenderness and careful planning. I have had her with me from her infancy. I have indulged in the fondest hopes about her. I trusted my heart to her growing charms. I have fondled her as my own for 13 years, just so that a young fool with whom she's infatuated can carry her off in front of me. When she's already half married to me. No, by heaven. No, my foolish young friend, you will have to be a truly cunning fellow to get the better of me. Trust me, all your hopes will be in vain, and in the end you will have nothing to laugh about.
Ah, here he is. Good day. I'm here ready to draw up the contract which you requested.
Oh, and how is it to be done?
It must be in the usual form.
I must take the greatest possible care.
I shall do nothing against to your interests.
I must guard against all surprises.
I will look after your affairs most carefully for safety's sake. However, you must not sign the contract before receiving the dowry.
I fear if I don't manage to keep a lid on this, the whole business will become the favorite town gossip within hours.
Well, it is easy to avoid this publicity. In the first place, your contract can be drawn up privately.
But how shall I manage it with her?
The arrangement should be proportionate to the fortune she brings you.
I love her, and that love is my great difficulty.
In that case, the wife may have so much the more.
How can I act towards her in such a case?
The regular way is that the husband-to-be settles on the wife-to-be a third of her marriage portion as a gift. This is the rule, is not mandatory, and if you offer a great deal more, if you have a mind to it.
What?
I was saying that the financial arrangement is a question of both sides. The husband can settle on his wife whatever he thinks proper.
Sorry. What are you talking about?
He can offer her a sizable sum. When he loves her much and wishes her to be comfortable in her own right, he can, by the way of a dowry or settlement, as it is called, assure her an income which is lost upon her death, valid only for her own lifespan and not passing her to her heirs or even able to be gifted during her lifetime. Why do you shrug your shoulders? Am I talking like a fool? I do not understand contracts. You think you can teach me better? I do not know that when people are married, they have a joint right to all movables, money, fixtures, and acquisitions, unless they resign it by act of renunciation. I do not know that a third party of the portion of the wife that is to becomes common in order.
Yes, verily, yet verily, you know all this. But who has said one word to you about it?
You, who seem to take me for a fool, shrugging your shoulders and making faces at me.
Oh, I can't stand his face. Good day. That's the way to get rid of you.
But was I not brought here to draw up a contract?
Yes, I sent for you, but the business is postponed. I shall send for you again when I am ready. What a devil of a fellow he is with his jabbering.
Has he gone mad? No doubt about it. Did your master not send you to fetch me to him?
Yes.
I do not know what you think of him, but you can tell him from me that he is a complete fool.
Oh, trust us, we will. Sir?
Come here. You are my faithful, my good, my real friends. I have news for you.
The notary?
Oh, never mind. Some other day for that. A foul plot is being contrived against my honor. If it succeeds, it would significantly damage your own reputations. If my honor were compromised, you would not dare to be seen anywhere. People would point the finger at you. So since this problem affair concerns you as much as me, you must take care that this plot is nipped in the bud.
We have learned our lesson, thanks to you.
Don't listen to his fine speeches.
Of course.
We know how to deny him.
I suppose he should come to you now, wheedling, Alain, my good fellow, cheer my drooping spirits with a little help.
You are a fool!
You're right. Georgette, my darling, you look so kind, so caring.
You are allowed.
You are right. What harm could there be in honest and perfectly virtuous scheme?
You are a rogue.
Capital. I shall surely die if you do not take pity on my sufferings.
You are a brazen-faced blockhead.
First rate. I do not expect something for nothing. I take care of those who serve me. Here, Alain, is a trifle in advance to have a drink with. And Georgette, here is a little something. Buy yourself a petticoat. Now, this is merely a token of what I intend to do for you. All I ask in return is that you will let me see your pretty mistress.
Try your games elsewhere.
Oh, what? Oh, that was good.
Get out of this!
Oh, very good.
Immediately.
Well, good. Yeah, hold on. No, that's enough.
Am I not doing right?
Is this how you would have us act?
Oh, yes, capital. Except for the money, which you must not take.
We did not think of that.
Shall we begin again now?
No. That was fine. Go in now, both of you.
You need to ask.
No, I tell you, go in when I tell you. You may keep the money. Go. I shall soon be with you again. Keep your eyes peeled and follow my instructions. I will get the cobbler who lives at the corner of the street to be my spy and tell me everything. I mean to keep her indoors always, to have her constantly watched, and banish in particular all sellers of ribbons, ladies' maids, hairdressers, kerchief makers, glove sellers, and all those folk who work in secret and make it their business to bring lovers together. Oh, yes, I have seen the world and understand its tricks. That man will have to be very cunning if he wants to get a love letter or message to her in here.
What a great fortune to meet you here. Oh, goodness, I have had the most frightening narrow escape. As I left you, to my surprise, I saw Agnes alone on her balcony, breathing the cool air from under the trees. After gesturing to me to stay where I was, she managed to sneak down into the garden and open the door and lead me up. But we scarcely were in her room before she heard her jealous guardian on the stairs. And the best she could do was to lock me in a large wardrobe. He came straight in the room, but I did not see him. Oh, but I heard him pacing up and down furiously, not saying a word, but sighing desperately at intervals and occasionally thumping the table, even kicking her little dog when it got in his way, and madly throwing things about. In his rage, he smashed the vases with which she had decorated her mantelpiece. It sounded as if the tricks she played must have come to his ears, this cuckold to be. At last, having vented his passion on anything that couldn't fight back, this jealous gentleman left the room without saying what disturbed him, and I was able to get out of the wardrobe. We couldn't stay together for long for fear of my rival, but it would have been too great of a risk. But late tonight, I am to enter her room silently. I am to announce myself by coughing 3 times. And she will open the window It's to be opened. Then, with a ladder and her help, Agnes will pull me into her room. Oh, I tell you this because you are my friend, and my pleasure only increases by sharing the story. And you are the very person to enjoy my success with me. Oh, goodbye. I am off to get everything ready.
What? Will cruel fate not even give me time to catch my breath before it dumps the next disaster on me? As their affair grows, must I stand and watch all my plans crumble into dust? Must I, at my age, become the dupe of a simple girl and a scatterbrained young man? For 20 years I've noted the wretched fate of married men and have carefully marked the mistakes which plunge the most prudent into misfortune. I learned from the foolishness of cuckolds, and having decided to marry, I worked out the best way to avoid being decked with horns myself. I thought I'd covered all the possibilities and laid down all the safeguards to prevent this fate from happening to me. But fate herself seems to have taken over and decreed that no man should escape. Even with all my experience and careful study of so many examples, and after more than 20 years of careful planning in order to ensure my safety, I have avoided the mistakes of so many husbands only to find myself caught in the same trap. Ah, cursed fate! But I can still win. I am her guardian, and even if her heart is stolen by this obnoxious fop, I shall at least make sure that he does not get hold of anything else. This night, when they try to implement their pretty plan, it shall not pass as agreeably as they anticipate. I get at least some satisfaction to know that the fool has warned me of all their plans, and that the idiot who dreams of ruining me has made me confidant of his own rival.
Well, shall we take our supper before our walk?
Oh, I'm not hungry.
Why on earth not?
Oh, forgive me. I am distracted. There's something I have to deal with.
Is there a problem with your intended marriage?
You poke your nose into other people's businesses too much.
Ooh, you're a bit snappy. What's upset you? Is your love life not going so smoothly? It certainly looks like that from your scowl.
Well, whatever happens, I shall at least have the advantage of being unlike some folks who simply give in to their fate.
It's so odd. I mean, after all, you're a clever fellow, and yet you get so frightened by these possibilities. Your whole happiness depends on this, and you can imagine no other kind of honor possible in the world. To be a miser, a brute, a rogue, a wicked and cowardly is nothing in your mind compared with the fear of being a cuckold. And however a man may have behaved, as long as he isn't a cuckold, he's still a man of honor. Why do you imagine that status depends on such a trivial event, where an honorable mind must tear itself apart over circumstances it cannot prevent? Tell me, why do you insist that in taking a wife, a man deserves praise or blame simply for the choice he makes? And why do you make such a fuss out of the offense caused by her want of fidelity? Let me tell you, a man of honor should take the fear of cuckoldom much less seriously. Since none of us are secure from the wiles of fate, the whole thing ought to be a matter of indifference. The evil in it, whatever the world may say, totally depends on how you take it and what you make of it. To retain his honor when faced with such behavior, a man must shun extremes, not ape those over-simple men who are proud of such affairs and are ever inviting the gallants to court their wives, praising them everywhere, displaying their sympathy for them, coming to all their entertainments and all their meetings, and making everyone wonder at their having the assurance to show their faces there. There is nothing honorable in behaving like that. But the other extreme is no less to be condemned. If I do not approve husbands befriending their wives' gallants, no more do I approve of those violent men whose indiscreet resentment, full of rage and fury, draws the attention of the whole world by their noise, and who seem from their outbursts determined to let everyone know what's wrong with them. There is an honorable path between these extremes where a wise man may walk in safety and retain his dignity. When we accept the correct way to behave, there's no reason to blush for the worst a woman can do to us. In short, say what you will, cuckolding can be easily made to seem less terrible. And as I've told you, the trick lies in being able to always show your best face.
Well, after this inspiring lecture, all husbands should owe your worship thanks. Anyone who hears you speak would be delighted to enroll himself in your school for cuckolds.
That's not what I'm saying. In fact, that is what I have found fault with. But as fortune gives us a wife, I say that we should act as we do when we gamble. If you do not get what you want, you must be shrewd and good-tempered and protect your reputation by good management.
That is, sleep and eat well and persuade yourself that it is all nothing.
Oh, you'll make a joke of it. But let's be honest, there are 100 things in the world that are worse and which constitute a much greater misfortune than the accident you are so grievously afraid of. Do you think that in choosing between the two alternatives, I should not prefer to be what you describe, rather than see myself married to one of those creatures whose bad temper makes a quarrel out of nothing? Those dragons of virtue, those respectable she-devils ever primping themselves on their wise conduct, who, because they do not do us a trifling wrong, behave in a self-righteous way and become haughty. Because they are faithful to us, they expect that we should put up with everything from them. I tell you, my friend, a cuckoldom is just what we make of it. In some cases, it's even to be desired and has its pleasures, just like anything else.
And you can enjoy it if you want, but I have no intention of trying it myself. And rather than submit to such a thing, I will be damned.
Oh, bless me, do not swear, lest you should be forsworn. If fate has decided, your precautions will be useless and your advice will be ignored.
I cuckold?
Oh, you are in a bad way. 1,000 men are in that state, and those same men, now I mean no offense, would scorn comparison with you in terms of bearing, courage, fortune, and family.
And I, on my side, refuse to draw comparisons with them. All you're doing is making me angry. But let's have done with it, if you please.
Oh, you are in a passion. What is it that has upset you? Well, goodbye. But remember, whatever your honor prompts you to do in this business, to swear you will never be what we have talked of is halfway towards being it.
Well, I do swear it. I am going this very minute to find a sure way to prevent such a thing happening.
Scene 9.
My friends, I must now beg your assistance. I appreciate your loyalty, and I must call upon it this evening. And be assured that if you serve me well, as I am sure you will, you may count on your reward. Now, don't say a word. The man you know of intends, as I understand, to trick me this very night and get into Agnes' room using a ladder. Now, we three are going to lay a trap for him. Each of you needs to get a good cudgel. I shall open the window at the proper time, and when he's nearly at the top of the ladder, both of you shall jump on the rascal for me. Now make you sure that his back will remember it, so that he learns never to come here again. But don't mention me in any way, or make it appear that I am behind it. Now, will you be able to do this for me, to exact my revenge?
If a thrashing is all, sir, rely on us. You shall see if I hold back.
Though my arm may not look strong, I shall make it play my part.
In you go then, and above all, be careful you do not chatter. This is the kind of lesson my neighbours should learn. If all the husbands in town were to receive their wives' lovers in this fashion, there wouldn't be so many cuckolds in the world.
Act 5.
Riches! In God's name, what have you done?
We have obeyed you, sir.
Don't try to defend yourself by blaming me. I told you to beat him, not to murder him. You would have beat him on the back, not on the head. Oh, good heavens. What kind of a mess have I got myself into now? And what am I supposed to do if the man is dead? Quickly, go into the house and be sure that to say nothing of the instructions that I gave you. Well, it'll be daylight soon. I must decide what on earth to do. What will become of me when this news gets out? And what will Horace's father say when he hears about it?
I must find out who is there.
I never imagined the affair could go this badly. Who's that, pray?
Is that you, Monsieur Rolnoff?
Yes, but who are you?
Horace, I was going to your house to beg you a favor. You are out very early.
Good God, what's going on? Is it magic? Is he a vision?
Oh, I was in a great difficulty, and thank heaven's great goodness that I have found you just when I needed you. As it turned out, everything succeeded much better than I could have predicted, except for an accident which could have wrecked everything. I do not know how our assignation could possibly have been suspected, but just as I was reaching the window, I saw a couple of people who were waving clubs at me. As a result, I missed my footing on the ladder and fell to the ground, but at the expense of a bruise or two, that saved me from a score of blows. These people, and I assume my jealous rival is one, attributed my fall to their blows. And since the pain compelled me to lie there for a little time motionless, they really thought they had killed me and were horrified. I kept very quiet through their noise. They tiptoed towards me without a light, each accusing the other of violence and moaning about their bad luck to feel if I was dead. As you can imagine, I did my best in the darkness to behave like a real corpse, and they ran away in terror. Just as I was wondering how I should make my escape, my dear Agnes, frightened by my pretended death, rushed up to me in a state of panic. She had heard the accusations of the people who had attacked me from the start, and since they were too concerned about themselves, she managed to escape from the house. Then, finding me unhurt, she changed in a flash. It was wondrous to watch. What more need I say? The lovely girl obeyed the promptings of our love, would not return to her room, and committed her fate to my honor. You can imagine from this evidence of her innocence to what she would have been exposed, having been brought up in the mad intolerance of a fool, and also what frightful risks she might have run if I were a man to hold her less dear than I do. But my love for her is too pure. It fills my soul. I had rather die than wrong her. I deserved so much better than she has seen to date, and not but death shall part us. My father will, I am sure, fly into a rage, but we must just find a way to appease his anger. Her delightful charms transport me, and so we must simply make what we can of our future. What I need you to do as my trusted friend is to let me place my love under your care, and that if from your care from me you will conceal her in your house for at least a day or two, not only must I conceal her flight from everyone to prevent any successful pursuit of her, you will understand everyone would be suspicious that a young girl, especially such a beautiful one, was alone in the company of a young man. Since I have trusted the whole secret of my passion to you because I know your wisdom, I also know that I can trust this beloved treasure only to my generous friend.
Trust me, I am entirely at your service.
You will do me such a great favor?
Oh, very willingly. And let me tell you, I am delighted at the opportunity of serving you. I thank heaven for putting your trust in me. Nothing would give me more pleasure.
Oh, I cannot thank you enough for all your kindness. Oh, I feared that you might be reluctant to help me. But you know the world, and your wisdom can excuse the ardor of youth. One of my servants is with her at the corner of the street.
But how shall we manage? For day begins to break. If I take her here, I may be seen. And if you come to my house, the servants will talk. To be safe, you must bring her to me in a dark place. That alley of mine is convenient. I shall wait for her there.
Oh, it is good that you want to take such precautions. I shall place her in your hands and return at once to my lodgings immediately.
Fortune. This propitious accident makes amends for all the mischief which your caprice has done.
Scene 3.
Do not be concerned at the place I'm taking you to. It is a safe house. It would ruin all for you to lodge with me. Go in at this door and follow where you are led.
Why do you leave me?
Oh, my dearest Agnes, it must be so.
I pray you to return soon.
My love will not let me stay away for long.
I am joyless when you are gone.
Oh, and I am bereft, and how bereft I am when you are away.
Alas, if that were so, you would stay.
Oh, what? Can you doubt my love?
No, but you do not love me as much as I love you. He's pulling me too hard.
It is because it is dangerous, dear Agnes, for us to be seen together here. This true friend whose hand draws you away is only showing his concern for our safety.
But to follow a stranger...
Oh, fear nothing. In such hands you cannot but be safe.
I would rather be in Horace's, and I should stay a little.
Oh, farewell. The day drives me away.
When shall I see you then?
Very soon, you may be sure.
How weary I shall be till I do.
Oh, thank heaven my happiness is no longer in doubt. Now I can sleep securely.
Scene 9.
Come with me. You will not be staying there. I have provided a room for you elsewhere, where you will be safe enough. Do you know me?
Oh,
My face frightens you now. Hussy, you are disappointed to see me here. I interrupt your love affair and all its pretty games. Oh, no, do not imagine you can call your lover to your aid with those eyes of yours. He is too far off to give you any assistance. So, young as you are, you can play such pranks. Your simplicity and gentleness that seemed so wonderful had me fooled, yet you managed to make an assignation by night and to slink out silently in order to follow your gallant. How coaxing your tongue was with him. You must have been well taught. Who the devil taught you so much and so quickly? Oh, baggage, to be so deceitful, to plot so cleverly in spite of all my kindness. You are a serpent that I have warmed in my bosom, and that as soon as it feels it is alive, turns round to bite the one that cherished it.
Why do you scold me?
Oh, so I'm in the wrong.
I don't understand how I have done wrong.
Shamelessly to chase after a young man is not then an infamous thing?
He says he wishes to marry me. I only followed your guidance. You taught me that we ought to marry in order to avoid sin.
Yes, but I meant to take you to wife myself. I think I gave you to understand it clearly enough.
You did, but to be frank with you, I much prefer him as a husband. With you, marriage would be a trouble and a pain, and your descriptions give a terrible picture of it. But he makes it seem so full of joy that I long to marry.
Oh, traitress! That is only because you love him.
Yes, I love him.
And you have the impudence to tell me that?
Well, if it is true, should I not say it?
Why should you love him, minx?
Alas, can I help it? He himself is the cause. Nothing was further from my mind when it all started.
You should have refused to give him in to that foolish emotion.
How could I reject what gave me infinite delight?
But surely you knew that it would displease me?
Not at all. What harm could it do you?
So I ought to rejoice at it? You do not love me, then?
Love you?
Yes.
Alas, no.
How no?
Would you have me lie to you?
Why do you not love me, minx?
Heavens, why do you blame me? You did nothing to make yourself lovable to me as he has done, and yet I did nothing to prevent you.
I tried everything I could, but apparently it was all a waste of time.
Well, all I can say is that he understands love much better than you. He had no difficulty in getting me to love him.
Oh, you see the way her simple logic destroys me? Damnation! Could one of your witty so-called ladies say better? I must have been an idiot, or else, on my honor, a simple sheltered fool of a girl knows more than the wisest man. Since you are so good at reasoning, madam, is it right that he should profit from you at my expense?
No, of course not. He will pay you back, every last penny.
Her words shame me further. And you honestly believe he will pay me back for all I have spent on bringing you up and educating you?
I suspect I do not owe you as much as you may believe.
But was the cost of your care and education nothing then?
Oh, yes, you took great pains there and ensured that I was carefully taught throughout. But do you think I am so naive that I do not realize that I am, in fact, completely ignorant? Believe me, I am ashamed of myself, and despite my age, I no longer want to be viewed as a fool if I can possibly prevent it.
So your young man is going to lift you out of ignorance?
Of course. It is from him that I realize the extent of my ignorance. I fancy I owe him much more than I do you.
Oh, damnation. I want to reward these accusations by thumping her. Her cold logic drives me to a fury, so much so that I want to hurt her.
You can do that if you choose.
These words and that look completely disarm me and call up all the tenderness I felt for her so that my fury evaporates. Oh, how strange it is to be in love, to think that we men should be subject to such weakness for these artful manipulators. Everyone knows their weaknesses. They're extravagant and indiscreet. Their minds are wicked and their understanding trivial. Indeed, there's nothing weaker, more stupid, more faithless. But in spite of all this, we will do anything in the world for their sake. Well, let us each forgive each other. I forgive you everything and take you back into my heart. Understand how much I love you, and realizing this, love me in return.
I should like to please you with all my heart if it were in my power.
Poor dear child, you can if you will. Hear my sigh of love. See this dying look. Behold my person, and forsake this young fool and the love he inspires. He must have bewitched you. Surely you will be 100 times happier with me. Your desire is to be finely dressed and enjoy your life. Then I promise you, you shall ever be so. I will fondle you night and day. I will hug you, kiss you, devour you. You shall do whatever your mind turns to. I will not try to control or direct you. I am that changed. Oh, to what length will my passion go? In short, nothing can equal my love. What proof would you have me give you, ungrateful child? Would you have me weep? Shall I beat myself? Shall I tear out half my hair? Should I kill myself? Is that what you want? Then tell me. I'm willing to do anything, cruel one, to convince you of my love.
I'm sorry, none of this comes close to touching my heart. Horace could do more with just 2 words.
Oh, your insults get worse and drive my fury to extremes. I will not give you up, you hussy. You will be packed off to the country immediately. You may well reject my advances and taunt me, but I will have my revenge. A convent shall be your future.
Scene 5.
I do not know what happened, Master, but it appears that Agnes and the corpse have run away together.
Oh, she's here, locked in my room. Horace will never think of coming here to see her. Besides, it'll only be for half an hour. Go and get a carriage. I am going to take her somewhere safe. Shut yourselves in, and above all, do not take your eyes off her. Perhaps when her mind is settled in solitude, she will give up this passion.
Oh, I am doomed. Fate has sealed my misery. I am to be torn away from the beauty I love. My father arrived this very evening. I found him alighting from his horse. He has come to tell me that he has arranged a match for me without letting me know, and he wants to celebrate the marriage immediately. Imagine my horror. I can't conceive of anything worse happening. That Henrique, the fellow I asked you about yesterday, is the source of all my trouble. He has come with my father to seal my fate, for it is his only daughter that I am betrothed to. I thought I would pass out when they first told me. My father said he wanted to pay you a visit, and as I didn't want to hear any more of this dreadful scheme, I raced to get here before him. Oh, my brain is spinning. Please don't let him know about my engagement. It will make him furious. And since he trusts you, please try to dissuade him from another match.
Of course.
Tell him he should delay. I'll be a true friend and help me in my love.
Trust me.
I put my faith in you.
He could not be better placed.
I've always looked at you as my true father. Tell him that my age... Oh, I see him coming. Oh, let me give you some points that you can argue with.
Scene 7.
As soon as I saw you, I didn't need anyone to tell me I should have known you. I recognize your lovely sister in your face. My dear wife, whom I lost so long ago. Cruel fate took her away from me and prevented me from uniting her with all our friends. But since destiny has forever me of her dear presence, I can only accept and cherish the only fruit of love which remains to me. It, of course, concerns you too, for without your consent, it would be wrong of me to dispose of this pledge. The choice of the son of Oronte is honorable in itself, but I must ensure that all are pleased with this choice as well as I.
It would show that my judgment is questionable if I expressed any worries of so worthy a choice.
Aye, Horace, I will serve you finely.
Beware once more.
You can count on me.
This is indeed a tender embrace.
How delighted I am to see you.
I am come here.
Oh, you don't need to say anything. I know why you're here.
You have already heard.
Yes,
So much the better.
your son is opposed to this match. I must tell you his heart is given elsewhere, and he looks on your plan as a disaster. He has begged me to dissuade you from it, but for my part, I would advise you to exert a father's authority and not allow the marriage to be delayed. Young people should be managed with a firm hand. We harm them by being indulgent.
Oh, the traitor.
If the marriage is offensive to him, we must not force him. Surely, brother, you will agree, will you not?
What? Will he let himself be ruled by his son? Would you want a father to be so weak that he's unable to make his son obey him? It would be a pretty pass indeed at his time of life to be receiving orders from one who ought to receive them from him. No. He's my dear friend, and his honor is as my own. He has pledged his word, and he must keep it. Let him now display his firmness and control his son's affections.
Your advice is sound. In this match, I will guarantee my son's obedience.
I am indeed surprised at the great eagerness you show for this marriage. I cannot imagine what your motive is.
I know what I am doing. I speak the truth.
Yes. Monsieur Arnolfi, he is...
Don't use that name, it annoys him. I told you, he goes by Monsieur de la Souche.
It doesn't matter.
What was that?
There, you see, that's your mystery solved, and you can finally see why I have done what I did.
What a frightful mess.
Sir, if you do not come now, I doubt we will be able to hold Agnes much longer. She is trying everything she can to get away. I'm scared she'll throw herself out the window.
Bring her here to me. I'm going to take her away. Look, Horace, face the facts. If you always got everything you wanted, how do you think it would turn out? Every dog has his day, as the proverb says, and I'm afraid you've had yours. It's my turn now.
Oh, dear Lord above, what misfortune can equal mine? Was ever a man such a desperate mess as this?
Laurent, name the day of his marriage immediately. I endorse it. In fact, I'll invite myself now.
We'll do that immediately.
Come, my rebellious wards, since my servants say they cannot hold you. Here is your young man, to whom, with my permission, you may make a sweet and humble curtsy. Farewell, Horace. I'm afraid this rather thwarts your desires, but lovers are not always fortunate.
Horace, will you let me be kidnapped like this?
I don't know what to do. I'm confounded everywhere I turn.
Enough chatter. Now come along.
No, I will stay here.
What is the meaning of all this? We don't understand what is going on.
I shall inform of everything at a more convenient time. Till then, goodbye.
Where are you going? You are not telling us anything, and you certainly should.
I have advised you to finalize the marriage. Horace can grumble as much as he likes.
But to complete it, have you not understood? They obviously haven't told you everything. The lady in question is in your house. She is the daughter of Enrique and the lovely Angelica. They were previously privately married. Were you trying to tell us just now?
I'm too astonished at what he's saying.
What?
My sister had a daughter by a secret marriage whose existence was concealed from the whole family.
And in order that nothing might be discovered, she was put out to nurse in the country by her husband under an assumed name.
At that time, fortune being against him, he was compelled to leave his native land.
And encounter 1,000 dangers in far-off countries overseas.
There, through hard work, he managed to recover what he had lost in his own land through roguery and envy.
And when he returned to France, the first thing he did was to seek out the woman who had been tasked with the care of his daughter.
And this countrywoman told him that she had committed her to your keeping from the age of 4.
And that she did it because she received money from you, because she was very poor.
Laurent, as you can imagine, was overjoyed and has even brought this woman here.
I can imagine. She will be here directly and will clear up this mystery at once.
I can imagine the cause of your grief, but now fortune is being kind to you. If you cannot stand the thought of being a cuckold, your only course is not to marry at all.
What's he running away for? Why doesn't he say anything?
Ah, Father, I can tell all about this mystery. Chance and fate has done here what your wisdom intended. I had engaged myself to this young woman in the sweet bonds of mutual love. It is indeed she whom you come to seek, and for whose sake I was about to refuse your proposal of marriage contract.
I was sure of it as soon as I saw her. My heart has yearned for her ever since. Ah, daughter, now that I see you at last, I am overcome with joy.
As am I, no less than you, brother. But this is hardly the place for such celebrations. Let us go inside and clear up these mysteries. Let us show our friend at least some return for his pains, and thank the good Lord above, who ensnares that ensures that all comes right in the end.
Da, 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 da. Everyone's hands up. We don't have music, it's not working, and a big bow.
All right.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you. Bill, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Un plaisir. C'est mon plaisir.
Okay. Oh, merci beaucoup. And I wonder with our young bride here, which was your favorite maxim?
Oh, geez. Hard to say. You can't just pick
There's so
one.
many.
The church was incensed at those maxims. Molière was
They were.
accused of moral sedition.
Hey, take care, everyone. Thank you. Great
Good to
reading.
see you again, Brian.
Thank you,
Thank you
Brian.
for
Have a great,
organizing.
weekend.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was lovely. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the day.
Right. Thank you, Paula.
Cheers, Paula.
All right. Thank you, Clinton.
Bye.
Good
Thank you.
man.
See you next month.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Maren.
Sure.
Yep.
Paul, yay. Were you able
Thank
to
you
hear
all.
us?
Yeah, very good job.
Great. Were you-
I missed some of it as I would lose connection, but I was listening to it also on YouTube. So thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay. Well, thank you, Paul and Maren. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to, next time we'll have to coordinate the film a little better so that goes smoother. But thank you. Thank you for running it. Yeah, we didn't have sound in the beginning. Is there a way to make sure we have
it's-
sound?
Yeah, no, it's because I had one thing unmuted, but I didn't have the other thing unmuted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
these
yeah.
things can be tricky. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.
Merci.